simple. You can plan a wedding with a millionaire, but just know that we'll use your primary school to do that wedding.
The event space in Nigeria is one that is heavily saturated. Our guest, Nanette Anthony, is a Plateau, Abuja-based event planner that is inundated with the business of event planning. We're super excited to have her on the show today. She is the MD CEO, Meta World Event. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for the welcoming. And I am excited to be here. Really excited to be on the show and to talk about the event industry as a whole.
I'd like for us to begin with the question that will bother anybody. Who is an event planner and what is event planning?
Let me just use the word planner in one word. Planning is strategist. If you're a planner, you're a strategist, meaning you strategize on how things are done. You can also call it coordinated in some aspect, but a little bit elevated than a coordinator. That's because you manage an event. So basically, an event planner is someone who coordinates, who manages every bit of event or every bit of any organized something that is happening within a particular space or an environment. And one person is actually putting together those things to ensure that a proper and a well-packaged event is happening. It's not everybody that can be an event planner, but probably I could say anybody can be a coordinator, like I just said. So my reason is because the first thing I look out for being an event planner, if you don't have patience, you can't be an event planner. So you can't just wake up and just want to be an event planner. You have to on the go. For me, I have gone through courses. I travel even outside the country for conferences. You get to learn some of these things and how to manage people when you go out or when you learn some other things, or you go online or you do physical trainings. It also helps you. So you have to undergo some trainings to actually become a planner. So not everybody can just wake up and be a planner.
So tell us, what's the difference between a coordinator and a planner?
Just like I mentioned, in my brand as a Meta World Events, in the Meta World Events world, I have different coordinators for different things. So now those coordinators work under myself, who is the chief planner, So now I know I have the knowledge to manage every aspect of the event. So let me use another profession to explain this better. Let's talk about the film industry. If you know who is an executive producer, is just like your client. Your executive producer is a client who has handed over the money for the planning to you, just like an executive producer would hand money over to a director to produce, to direct a movie. So that's the work of a planner. A planner is just like a movie director. That's why whatever goes wrong in the film industry, the executive producer or the producer is not held responsible. The director is held responsible for whatever project that is going on. The same thing with the planner. So the coordinator is not held responsible for anything because he works under the coordinator, the planner. The planner gives the coordinator the directive on how to go with managing the few activities that is happening in an event. Just like I said, we share the responsibility. One is handling the bride, one is handling the way the groom from the morning, one is handling the event center, the decoration and all of that. It's easier for you. So under the just like there are coordinators that are under the events planner, so also in the film industry. Now under the director has a film manager. A film manager is like a coordinator. So now the film manager is someone who is given a particular responsibility to manage maybe the cast, the crew, but now he's working under the director. Do you understand? Now the director is either he owns the film or he is working for someone, probably paid by a producer or an executive producer. Basically, an executive producer who has nothing to do with the events, who has nothing to do with the film. He just has the money he wants to do. Just funding. For producer, we could say, yes, he's his film. He probably has a story and all of that. But we're just talking about the coordinator and the planner. So let me say the coordinator is a film manager, while the director is an event planner. So if you know film well, you would know that these are the basic two different way to simply identify or differentiate between the coordinator and a planner.
I'm in the event space, so I can tell you that a lot of people think that paying an event planner is like a waste of resources. They think that paying an event planner is waste of money. Do you think that, and I've even heard people say that the job of an event planner is just gathering of vendors from one, from different quarters together for a particular event. Anyone could actually do that. Do you think that's wrong, or what's your take on that?
I mean, this particular question has been answered even from the first analysis you asked me to differentiate between the planner and the coordinator. It's simple. Why do we have people in different fields? Even in the film industry, for instance. Sorry, I'll have to be bringing because it's a field I do. And then it's easier for me to have. Why do we have NGOs who has a media team and will still want to hire a professional, let's say, producers to come produce and hand it over to them? And that's because everybody has a niche. He understands better. For clients who feels it's better for them to handle, they should wait until the close day of the event, probably few days, and you just remember that I haven't spoken to my MC. I haven't spoken to this. You have a lot of people in your head to manage. And you're planning for your own wedding. You're planning for your own event. You are in the church where you're supposed to be taking an oath, the important part of the event. Your mind is on the hall. You're not even sure if the decorator is even out. You're not even sure if your food is ready. You're not even sure of anything because you just want to run out. At the point of the event, instead of you to pay attention during this church service, you are busy talking to probably your best man to quickly go and ask if this thing is done together. So by the time you keep on doing this, you're distracting yourself from hearing the real essence of the wedding, which is probably the taking of the oath in the church. And then at the same time, the distraction will be too much. A lot of it will raise questions, and all of that. Your expression
definitely show your
face. Of course, the bride and all of that. You would see the expression on the face would actually spell the whole event. Even your pictures. When you get to see your pictures after the event, you might just think you're doing it. You won't like how you look at the end of the day. So, and then if you're really a less busy person, I could understand. But if really a busy person, you work daily basis, you really need a planner because you can't put all of those things together with work because wedding or an event, whatever kind of event, doesn't start in a day. Even if they give you 1 week from work, like to take off a week break, you can't plan your wedding in a week. But when you know one person is answerable to your event, one person is answerable to you, you have nothing to worry about. Because at the end of the day, as a client, you hand it over to a planner. Now you go to bed. You know that it's just one number you have to pick. It's just one person you have to pick. How far matter well? Is everything going well? That's because you want to know. There's some other clients who hand it over because they trust your job, except you call them for an information. And if they are very busy, they know they don't pick calls because of their busy schedule and the kind of work they do. They have to pick your own one call. They don't have to worry about 10 vendors that are involved in a wedding. So that's, for me, I feel it is very key. Not because it's a business for me to make money or to get some money from a client, but you would not understand this if you're really a busy person, including you and your wife. If you're really two busy people and you think you can handle it, probably until the wedding gets close and you get crazy, and that's when you'll get to understand. And maybe when you see your pictures at the end of the day, you see how awful they look, you would be like, oh, I wish I had a planner. So please, it's not a waste of money, or anybody can coordinate. Not everybody can. Even the coordination are through. You have to put people through. I cannot just call just random person. I have a lot of people on my DM want to join my team, but I know the time I take to train my team, to train them that, okay, you're going to be the bride assistant, you're going to be a group assistant. All these things are part of coordinator. Those particular people already thought them on how to package the bride things, how to, manage the bride, even to what do you call it? Even during the event in the morning, bride might get flared up with some few things. It depends on how the coordinator also manages. So all these things are thought. People just don't wake up and want to coordinate, neither to even plan to talk of. So for me, I don't think it's an easy task. Not everybody can coordinate, or it's easy for everybody to just do. Whoever is just doing that thing, I don't think they're doing the right thing. And definitely, one way or the other, there would be a messed up that they cannot manage, which ordinarily a planner should be able to manage, except if such planner is not a trained or understood what it means to be a planner. So yes.
I want to ask you this question now. How do you handle sourcing or scouting for the right vendors for an event?
If you want me to train people online or train people who are out there watching me or listening to me. Because by the time I start giving them my tips on how to outsource for vendors, it means that I'm laying out something they're supposed to be paying, just like I have paid to learn. I'm not going to be giving. But I would, of course, I would say a little thing. I would really not break it down. If you want to learn, find me. I would put you through. So, for me, I have gotten to a stage, I'm not really bragging on my stage of really I'm still growing, that I've gotten to a stage where I have thousands of comedian MCs. I have maybe 20, 10 under my list that are MCs, under my list that are hype mans or hype men to say, under my list that are caterers, under my list. And you know that, to be honest, just like planners are in different levels. For some people, they look at planners based on the followers, and all of that. They don't get to know how good the planner is or experience the planner because it's services. But then for other vendors, it's easier for you to pick a little error or to pick the standard of a particular vendor. So like I said, for each vendor, I have 5, 10 of each or 20 vendors on a particular level of what he or she does. Just for Ybit, I know where to place Ybit. If I ask my vendors, how much is your budget? And you tell me your budget is 20 million. Okay, I know that in my head, if it's in Jaws, I know that, okay, I can put in Ybit inside because Ybit is not a small person. I don't know if you understand. So I wouldn't want to. So it's just like when they say it's 10 million naira they have. I won't think of Ybit. I would go to my list, check the person I know that can give them a one. So I always tell people, you can plan a wedding with $1 million naira, but just know that we'll use your primary school to do that wedding. And don't expect anybody to give you foreign rice. Don't expect groundnut oil. If you manage to get red oil in your food, so it depends. You can have a wedding at the very. I don't choose events. For me, I know a lot of people make choices. They don't plan for events not less than 20 million. I'm not saying that. Maybe I would get to that point, but I am looking at it at where I grew up. If anybody would also want to have a small wedding and he wants somebody to coordinate, I mean, we should give people the benefit of that to actually help them with their little means, right? You must well be fully involved. You send them one of your staff. There are events that I don't go. I will tell you. I will give you my
It could even be a training ground for some people.
Exactly. It could be a training ground for somebody. You get. Or they pay for consultation. I don't need to be there. I could put you through, and then you pay me for consultation. And then I don't need to be there. Or any of my staff to be there because of the kind of money you want to pay. Let me just get for the consultation. At least if I tell you 1 or 2 things or give it OTs on how to go, I should get paid for it because, of course, it's my profession. You get. So outsourcing for vendors, for me, it's not difficult when you already know your job and you know the kind of vendors you have on your list. For caterers, I have 10, 15 caterers. So it depends on your budget. I know the kind of caterers I will call for you. Because whether we like it or not, all these vendors are in levels. They are in levels. So you would call them based on the level. So like I said, if you tell me you have 20 million, I know the kind of food you would need in your 20 million. So I would call. If you say you have 50 million, of course, we'll know the kind of level. So it all depends on your budget. And it depends. Your budget will tell the kind of outsourcing we will do for you. So that's it for me.
Awesome. This is, you said a lot that made a lot of sense. There's something, because I'm into the event space also, and I know a lot of things that happen at the background, even on the main day of the event. A lot of things happen. We've seen cases where, personally, I've heard MCs say that a couple of MCs in Abuja here and even outside Abuja, I hear them say stuff like event planners are sabotagers, that they sabotage them, when they need to negotiate for something higher. I've seen cases where an MC will ask the event planner, who is the owner of the event? You want to know the class of people before you place your negotiation or maybe your price. Event planner wouldn't like to let the news out or tell you who the person is. We've also seen cases where they beat the price of a vendor. It may not necessarily be an MC, it could be a DJ, a caterer, or just any of the vendors. We've seen event planners do these things. Why do they do these things? Is it to favor them or to favor the client in question?
You know why I'm laughing? Because no matter what, you still not messed around with a planner. No matter what, you still go humble as a vendor. And if you would understand with me, I know as an MC, you call planners my sponsor. My sponsor is not out of place, because you feel like the number of clients a planner would give you, it will be difficult for you to get it as an individual or direct contact. Let's go by saying that a government should put a law that you cannot have an event until you go through a planner. You know that you cannot get a client on your own. You have to go through what do you call it? Go through a planner to get a job. Now, I would say this in two ways. I don't want to be biased. For a client who has already reached out to a vendor, for instance, let's say an MC, and probably call Webit, I have a wedding coming up on so day. How much would you charge? You had a conversation and agree on a price, and then eventually later the person wakes up and he wants to get a planner, and then informs you that there's a planner. Now the planner is giving your contact and says she reached out to you, and he or she reached out to you, and the person is trying to beat down the price. To be honest, as a vendor, I won't accept that. If a client and the vendor had agreed probably £1 million, this is something, that if it's coming through or from the planner to the vendor, the vendor will be like, okay, I'm doing this 900,000 naira because of you. And the discount is for the planner, and it has nothing to do with the client this time around, but it's because of the relationship of a planner vendor's relationship, But in a situation where after negotiating for £1 million with a client, and then a planner jump into the picture, and then a planner is trying to negotiate it to pay the 900,000, for me as a vendor, I wouldn't accept the job, because there was a deal. Except if the planner is coming in the place of a serious relationship or an understanding, or better still, the vendor could be like, okay, Meta is you. Oh, really? Oh yeah, let's see. Then at the end of the day, the vendor can decide on its own. This time around, not the planner saying, what discount can you do for me as a planner to the vendor? But he is coming on his own to say, oh yeah, Meta, I think, let me just send you a recharge card or something. And then he gives you, or he just decided to just give you. But it's not in your place to demand for it, because already there was an agreement between a client and a vendor before you came into place. So no planner should force or should make you discount after you must have had an agreement with your client from the onset. And another question you were trying to ask is, in most vendors, you've had that from an MC perspective, where they complain that planners sabotage them. In essence, you're trying to say planners hijacks the job or keep most part of the money.
Even most times, you even find out that those event planners, maybe because they are not familiar with you, they don't know you, not that you can't do the job, but because they have their own. Most planners already have a list, like you said earlier. They have a list of vendors that they always use. So they want that particular one. So way they will now have a discount for themselves.
So let me take us back to a little bit to where I was talking about. For me as a vendor, I won't take the job. The planner doesn't want to take the job. Doesn't want you to take the job. That is why she or he is trying to tell you that, okay, Oga, you go do on 900K. You're trying to tell her that, okay, we've agreed for £1 million, but the person wants to insist. Not because he or she cannot give somebody for 800,000, but because he doesn't want you to do the job.
That's right.
Or the person doesn't want to work with you as a planner. You get? Let me give you the reason why.
So in that case, what do you expect the vendor to do?
For the vendor, you go back to your client. You already have a relationship with the client.
Most times, you know the truth. Most times, there's always, I'll give you a scenario.
I know what you're trying to talk about. Right now, if I am a client, a planner who gave you the job, you do not have a business with my vendor, with my client. But I'm talking a situation where you already had a conversation with the planner with the client from the onset, before a planner comes into a picture. Now, let's say the client reach out to you. The client wants you to do the job, and then you had agreed on your prices before he later remembers that, I think I need a planner at this point. But then he tells me that you already got the vendor for.
Or maybe not even in a case where they remember, but maybe because the client has a contact with you, or maybe saw you in an event previously.
So, but one thing vendors should understand is, I cannot give you a contract. You want to go and start confirming, or you want to start reaching out to my client to know how much I am paying. You don't have a business with that. You're working with me as a planner, you're working with me as a planner. You do not, it's either you accept the job or you don't accept the job, because it is me that you know. I am now your client because I am the planner who is contracting you. So you don't have a business, you're answerable to me. So you don't have to fight over the fact that
if the planner contacted
contract
the vendor.
you. Yes, but I've already said from the onset that if you
This is what the budget is.
Yes, I've already said that from the onset, that you already have, if you already have a relationship with the client and you already agreed on a price, no planner should come and make you reduce the price that you have already agreed.
I'll give you reasons sometimes why these vendors, and honestly, don't put me in the picture because I'm an MC now. I'm talking because I'm in the event space. I do a lot of, aside being an MC, I package events, I do other stuff. And I've seen cases where, in a case where this event is almost days or few weeks before the dates, you don't have any hope of getting another job. And then this planner is insisting that this is what is obtainable.
First of all,
hold on. This is what is obtainable. Are you going to now say, oh, I'm not going to take the 800 or the 500 as against the 1 million that you've already agreed?
Okay, so
will you go home in an empty bag, with an empty bag, instead of having something at least? That's why
except you as a vendor want to go home with an empty bag. That's what we call, you should have a contract. If a planner reach out to you to something, say your planner, just the way you send your planner, invoice, you should send an invoice to a client. So if the client reach out to you, you already had an agreement with the client. There's no way on earth as a vendor, because a planner wants to force a particular budget or a particular price on you. You already had an agreement together with the client. There's no refund. And you have to do that job. Even if they don't allow you to do that job.
You're making it sound like it's a case where you've been paid already. We're talking about...
So why would you go into a contract? There are many
cases, hold on. There are many cases where we see people contact you. There's an agreement that book this date for meal. So you know these things. Let's not try to be too professional about this.
Let's be professional this time around. I'm just trying to tell you.
I'm painting a scenario for you so that you will address the case as an event planner. A client talks to me, or even you as the planner, you spoke to me about an event. We have an agreement. And then the client said, how much do you charge? The caterer says, I'm charging 10 naira for so plate of food. 2 days later, there's an event planner who's in the picture. And then the event planner is saying, this is what our budget is, because I'm now the event planner who's handling the whole thing. And it's few days to the event. What do you want the caterer to just go home on an empty stomach? That's what I'm asking.
Exactly my point.
Why we've seen cases, but you're agreeing that there are cases like this, right? There are
cases like this, but I don't think a vendor should worry himself or worry herself. There's no way 1 week to an event or 3 days to an event, you do not have money. While growing up in life or in business or in the field of work, it mustn't be an event itself. That's why we have promotions. Even in government parastatals, they give you a promotion, meaning you've grown beyond a particular or certain levels. So the same thing with services, the same thing with personal businesses. You don't just have to accept everything daily. You cannot be accepting 150 probably when you started and accept 150 till the next 5 years. And these same people that keeps on coming to you, or a planner or clients, because they want to use family. Family are first people.
The truth is, if you're growing, people will even see your see a need for you.
So you don't need to argue too much. When they ask you that, okay, we'll have 150 for you, you can always say, at this point, I think you will need to top up. Let's do like a 200 or 250. And they'll be like, okay, no, I don't have the money. You need to understand that things are going, we buy for today 200, you wake up is 600, you buy 600, you wake up is 1-2. So they don't expect that you keep collecting the same thing. Besides, even in the services, you're growing. Even as a comedy, you grow in your talent. You grow in your talent. Even in the planning, you grow in how you package your events. The way my event looks last year, I don't expect it to look this year. Do you understand? I should be growing. So as I grow, I should be able to ensure that my fee also grow alongside with my strength, with whatever it is that I give out there. So you don't have to accept every business that comes to your table. I'm not saying that you should reject every time. You have to understand these things if you really want to grow in the event industry and every field you work.
So I'm going to ask you 2 questions and we'll call it a wrap on the show. What is that one thing that if you have the opportunity to change in the event space, what will be that thing if you have the opportunity to change something?
This sounds a little bit difficult to respond because for me, seriously, I would want to change a lot of things. But the basic things is it's the fact that it's to the client, it's to the world, it's to everybody who wants to be a potential client in either birthdays, weddings, especially, that you cannot handle things personally. And please, I want to talk about this when it comes to the challenges, but I'm tempted already because of this question. If I have a way to change the narrative, clients should stop imposing vendors on top clients, on top planners, because that's where the major problem or challenges come from when you have backbones, and event doesn't turn out well. Because a particular vendor who has been paid by a client will tell you that you did not contract me, so why are you controlling me? But literally, they're supposed to be working under the planner. But because you did not contract them, you have some back and forth. But if anything falls back during the event, nobody knows it's the fault of a particular vendor. All they see is an event planner. So if I have anything to change in the event world, I would tell me it's to the client, not even my fellow events people in the event industry, because we can manage ourselves. But it's to people who are potential clients, especially when it comes to wedding or any big events. Please, if you want to give a job, carry the job. You've trust this person, just trust the person with everything, with the vendors. Go to sleep. I deliver the jobs that is given to me completely by a planner without having to buy a pure water. I handle I handle that job better. I handle that job better than the ones that a client will get me an MC, get me a caterer. I get more confused, especially when food aspect, because they'll be like, okay, you can't control us. You can't coordinate how we share the food. But everything falls bad at the end of the day during the event, and you are held responsible by the guests. People feel like I won't patronize her. It's spoiling our business. So Biko, potential clients, I beg to you in the name of God, please learn to just trust your planner completely and let them do their jobs. I think that's the question I want to answer.
So there's no point asking you challenges because you already outlined some of the major challenges. It's been an amazing run so far. We had a great conversation with this beautiful event planner. She's Nanette Anthony, MD CEO, Meta World Event. Thank you for coming on the show. We were super excited that you made our time to be with us. My name is Bits or Keta. I'm your host on the show. Thank you for joining us. We would like for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media platforms. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.